The year was unrecognizable. 500,000 years had passed since humans mysteriously vanished from the galaxy. No one knew what happened to them, only that they had disappeared without a trace. Earth, once a thriving planet full of life, was now seen as nothing more than a dead world. It was silent, its cities reduced to ruins, its people long forgotten. But something still lingered. Something powerful. A fleet of alien explorers, part of the Grand Galactic Coalition, had arrived in Earth's orbit. The crew was led by Captain Zartal, a seasoned commander known for discovering long-lost civilizations. Zartal's species, the Verandi, were one of the most intelligent races in the galaxy. Their curiosity often drove them to explore ancient ruins and forgotten planets, but nothing had prepared them for what they were about to find on Earth. "Captain, scans show no signs of life," said Vorta, the ship's science officer. Her voice, though calm, carried a hint of disappointment. "The planet is barren. It's just as the report said, abandoned for millennia." Zartal stared at the planet from the ship's viewing deck, its blue and green hues dull compared to what it once was. "There must be something left," he muttered to himself. Humans were too powerful to vanish without leaving something behind. The ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, gliding over the vast ruins of once great cities. Skyscrapers lay in pieces, overtaken by nature. Forests had reclaimed what humans had built. Rivers, once controlled by massive dams, now flowed freely through the skeletons of civilizations. The sight was both haunting and strangely beautiful. As the crew scanned the planet's surface, they came across an anomaly, a strange energy reading buried deep beneath the ground. It was unlike anything they had seen before. "Captain, we've detected something," Vorta said, her voice suddenly tense with excitement. "It's coming from beneath the ruins of what was once a major city. New York, I believe it was called." Zartal's eyes narrowed. "Take us there," he ordered. The ship landed in what had once been the heart of New York City, now covered in thick vines and towering trees. The alien crew disembarked, their feet sinking into the soft soil that had long since overtaken the concrete jungle. They followed their scanners toward the source of the energy, a massive underground structure hidden beneath the ruins. "This isn't natural," Zartal said as they reached the entrance of an ancient underground bunker. Its door was made of a strange metal untouched by time. No corrosion, no damage. It was as if it had been waiting for someone to find it. Vorta approached the door cautiously, her scanner in hand. "It's sealed tight, Captain, but the energy signature is strong. Something is still active in there." Zartal gave a sharp nod. "Open it." With a few swift commands, the team managed to bypass the lock. The door groaned as it slid open, revealing a dark corridor that led deep underground. Cold air rushed out, sending chills down their spines. As they descended, the walls became smoother, more polished. Strange symbols, written in an unknown language, lined the walls. It wasn't anything the aliens recognized. Finally, they reached the heart of the bunker, a massive chamber filled with towering machines and large, sleek ships. But these ships were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Their design was sleek, almost otherworldly, and they gave off a faint glow. The air buzzed with power, and the energy source was clearly coming from them. "These ships, they're not just human," Vorta whispered in awe. "They're beyond human, advanced. More than anything we've ever seen." Zartal's mind raced. How is this possible? Humans vanished. How could they have left something like this behind? Suddenly, a soft hum echoed through the chamber. One of the ships began to stir. Its lights flickered on, and a voice boomed through the room. "Humans will return. Prepare." The alien crew froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. The ships were still alive, and whatever this was, it wasn't just an ancient relic. It was a warning. Zartal stepped back, his face pale with shock. "We need to leave, now!" But deep down, he knew it was too late. Something far greater than they could understand had just awakened. Captain Zartal stood frozen in the massive underground chamber, staring at the sleek, glowing ships. The alien crew around him shifted nervously, glancing at each other, unsure of what to do next. The voice that had echoed through the room still rang in their ears. "Humans will return. Prepare." Vorta, the ship's science officer, quickly ran her scanners over the nearest ship. Her hands trembled as she watched the readings spike. "Captain, this fleet, it's not dormant. It's waking up." Zartal's mind raced. This was more than just a discovery. They had activated something ancient and powerful. "Shut it down," he ordered, his voice tense. "We don't know what we've triggered." Vorta shook her head, her voice filled with panic. "I can't!" "The systems are too advanced. They've already started their activation sequence. It's like they were waiting for us." The chamber around them began to hum with energy. The ships, once silent and cold, now pulsed with life. Lights flickered on, and a low, steady vibration ran through the floor. The aliens could feel the raw power emanating from the fleet. This wasn't just any human technology. It was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Suddenly, the large screen at the front of the chamber lit up. Symbols and data began scrolling across it in a language none of them could understand. Then a countdown appeared. "Captain, what is that?" one of the crew members asked, pointing to the screen. Vorta's eyes widened as she deciphered the numbers. "It's a countdown. 30 minutes until something. I don't know what happens when it reaches 0. Panic rippled through the crew. "We need to leave," Zartal said, his voice firm. "We don't know what's coming, and I'm not staying here to find out." But just as the crew began to retreat, the doors behind them slammed shut with a loud clang. The lights in the chamber dimmed, and the hum of the ships grew louder. It was as if the entire bunker had come to life, trapping them inside. Vorta rushed to the control panel near the door, her fingers flying over the keys. "I can't open it! The system has locked us in!" Zartal clenched his fists, frustration and fear building. "Keep trying. We can't be stuck here when that countdown hits 0. The crew moved quickly, trying to find any way out. Meanwhile, the ships continued to stir. Some of them began to hover slightly above the ground, their engines purring softly, as if testing their power after centuries of slumber. "Captain," Vorta whispered, her voice shaky, "these ships, they're more than just vessels. They're weapons. Weapons designed to defend Earth. If the humans built this fleet, they must have had enemies far greater than we can imagine." Zartal's stomach twisted. What kind of enemy could have driven the humans to create such an advanced fleet? And worse, where had the humans gone? The countdown continued, ticking closer to 0. The energy in the chamber became almost overwhelming. The ships were now fully active, their glowing lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The hum grew louder and louder, filling the air with tension. Suddenly, one of the ships emitted a loud beep, and a holographic figure appeared before the alien crew. It was a human, dressed in a sleek uniform, his face stern and commanding. He looked directly at Zartal and his team. "You have triggered the awakening of Earth's defense fleet," the hologram said in a deep, authoritative voice. "This fleet was designed to protect our planet in the event of our disappearance. You are trespassing on sacred ground." The crew stood speechless, their eyes wide with shock. The hologram continued. "When the countdown ends, the fleet will launch. All unauthorized life forms will be eradicated. Leave now or face the consequences." Vorta's hands flew to her mouth. "We're trapped! How do we leave?" The hologram disappeared, and the countdown reached 5 minutes. Zartal's heart pounded in his chest. The alien captain knew they had little time left, and if they didn't find a way out, they would be caught in the fleet's wrath. "Vorta!" Zartal barked. "We need to override the system. Get those doors open!" Vorta nodded, sweat dripping down her face as she worked furiously at the controls. The hum of the ships grew to a deafening roar. The countdown showed 2 minutes. "Captain!" one of the crew shouted. "We're running out of time!" Just as the countdown reached 1 minute, Vorta slammed her fist on the panel. The doors behind them flew open with a loud hiss. "Go! Now!" Zartal ordered. The crew didn't hesitate. They sprinted out of the chamber and back to their ship, their hearts racing. As they took off from Earth's surface, they watched in horror as the underground bunker exploded with light. The fleet was launching. The aliens had only one thought as they sped away. What had they just unleashed upon the galaxy? The Galactic Coalition was in chaos. News of the mysterious fleet awakening on Earth had spread like wildfire. Every major species, from the Verandi to the Xerons, was on high alert. No one knew what the humans had left behind, but everyone feared it. The alien crew that had escaped Earth, led by Captain Zartal, had shared their terrifying encounter, sparking panic across the galaxy. But what none of them knew was that the fleet was just the beginning. Far from the chaos, deep in the void of space, a hidden station came to life. It was an ancient facility, floating in the darkness, its location unknown to anyone except those who had built it, humans. The station had been dormant for centuries, waiting for a signal. That signal had come when the Earth fleet activated. Inside the station, machines hummed to life, and deep within its chambers, cryopods began to open. The first to awaken was Commander Alex Thorne, one of humanity's greatest military leaders from a time long forgotten. His body, preserved for 500,000 years, stirred as the freezing gases escaped from the pod. His eyes blinked open, adjusting to the dim light of the room. Thorne took a deep breath, his mind racing as memories slowly returned. The last thing he remembered was humanity's decision to enter stasis, a desperate plan to preserve their species. Their enemies had grown too powerful, and humanity had vanished to protect their greatest secrets. But now something had changed. A voice, calm and familiar, echoed through the chamber. It was the station's AI, Vera, tasked with overseeing the human stasis program. "Commander Thorne, welcome back. Earth's fleet has been activated. The time has come." Thorne sat up slowly, his muscles stiff from centuries of sleep. "How long?" he asked, his voice rough from disuse. 500,000 years, Vera replied. "The galaxy has changed, but your mission remains the same. Protect humanity's legacy and restore our place in the stars." Thorne's mind cleared as he stood up, the weight of his mission sinking in. He looked around and saw hundreds of other cryopods lining the walls. His fellow soldiers, humanity's elite warriors, were also beginning to stir. Slowly, one by one, they woke from their long sleep, their eyes filled with the same determination that had driven them centuries ago. "Commander," Vera continued, "the alien species known as the Varandi have discovered Earth. They unintentionally triggered the fleet's awakening. The galaxy now knows of humanity's hidden power." Thorne's eyes narrowed. "And how do they view us?" "As a threat," Vera answered. "They fear what they do not understand. We must act quickly." Thorne nodded, already thinking of their next move. "Prepare the fleet. We'll need to assess the situation and make contact with the galaxy. But first, we need to show them who we are." The soldiers around him began suiting up, their sleek, advanced armor fitting perfectly after all these years. Weapons hummed to life as they were tested, and the once silent station was now buzzing with activity. Humanity's finest warriors were back, ready to reclaim their place. As the humans prepared, Vera displayed a map of the galaxy on the central console. "The Varandi fleet that discovered Earth has already spread word of the awakening. The Galactic Coalition is gathering their forces. They will likely see us as a threat and may move to attack." Thorne smirked. "Let them come. We've been preparing for this for 500,000 years. They have no idea what they're up against." With the push of a button, the station's hidden hangar doors opened, revealing a fleet of ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. These vessels, sleek and deadly, had been designed with the best of human technology and innovation. They were faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything the alien species had to offer. As the ships powered up, Thorne stepped onto the bridge of his command vessel, a massive warship known as the Resolute. Its controls felt familiar, as if no time had passed since he had last flown it. He gazed out at the stars, knowing that the galaxy would soon learn the truth about humanity. "Commander," Vera said, "the fleet is ready. What are your orders?" Thorne looked at the gathered ships, his heart filled with pride. "We're going to send a message. Let the galaxy know that humanity has returned, and this time we're not going anywhere." The ship surged forward, leaving the hidden station behind. As they moved through space, heading toward Earth, Thorne knew the aliens would soon realize their mistake. Humanity was back, and they were stronger than ever. The Galactic Coalition's armada hovered in the darkness of space, a massive fleet gathered from every corner of the galaxy. Alien ships of all shapes and sizes, from the sleek Varandi cruisers to the heavily armed Zigoran dreadnoughts, formed an imposing wall. The Coalition's leaders stood on the bridge of their flagship, the Starbreaker, staring at the view screens with tense anticipation. They had come to Earth to stop what they saw as the greatest threat to the galaxy, humanity's reborn fleet. Grand Admiral Kor of the Varandi, a tall, scaled alien with piercing black eyes, glared at the screen. "We cannot allow the humans to rise again. We will strike first and show them that their time is over." Beside him, Captain Zartal, the alien who had first discovered the human fleet, remained silent. He still remembered the terror of being trapped inside the Earth bunker as the ancient fleet activated. Now he could only watch as the Coalition prepared for battle. A young officer at the control panel turned to Kor, his voice trembling. "Admiral, the human fleet is emerging from hyperspace." All eyes turned to the screen. In the distance, space shimmered. And then, one by one, the human ships appeared. First, a few, then dozens, then hundreds. They moved with precision, their silver hulls gleaming under the distant stars. The Resolute, Commander Alex Thorne's flagship, led the fleet. Thorne stood on the bridge, his face calm but determined. His soldiers, humanity's finest warriors, manned the stations around him, ready for battle. Thorne looked at the alien armada ahead, his eyes narrowing. "They've brought everything they have," he muttered. "Good. We'll show them what 500,000 years of preparation looks like." Vera, the station's AI, spoke through the ship's systems. "Commander, the Galactic Coalition is broadcasting a message." "Put it through," Thorne ordered. Admiral Kor's image flickered onto the screen. His voice was filled with arrogance and hostility. "Humans, you are vastly outnumbered. Your technology may be impressive, but it is no match for the combined strength of the galaxy. Surrender now, and perhaps we will show mercy." Thorne smiled, a cold, confident smile. "Admiral, you've made a mistake coming here. This is our home, and we don't surrender." Kor's face twisted in anger. "Then you will be destroyed." As the transmission cut off, Thorne turned to his crew. "Prepare all weapons. Let's remind them why humans were feared." The Resolute and the rest of the human fleet surged forward. The Coalition's ships opened fire first, beams of energy and missiles filling the space between the two forces. But the human fleet moved with terrifying speed and precision, dodging the attacks and countering with devastating force. The first wave of human ships unleashed a barrage of plasma cannons and particle beams. Coalition ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light as the human weapons tore through their shields like they were paper. The aliens had never seen anything like this. On the Starbreaker, chaos erupted. "How are they cutting through our defenses so easily?" Kor shouted, watching in horror as his ships were torn apart. "This is impossible!" Zartal, standing beside him, couldn't tear his eyes from the screen. He had known the humans were powerful, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. "They've had centuries to prepare, Admiral," he muttered. "We underestimated them." The battle raged on, but it was clear that the humans were winning. Their ships darted through the Coalition fleet like predators among prey, striking with lethal accuracy. Every move was calculated, every shot precise. On the Resolute, Thorne watched the battle unfold, his heart steady. This was what they had prepared for. This was why humanity had vanished for so long, to build the fleet that would defend their home from any threat. "Commander," Vera's voice interrupted his thoughts, "the Coalition forces are retreating." Thorne glanced at the view screen. Sure enough, the alien ships were pulling back, their formations breaking apart as they fled. They had come expecting to crush humanity, but they had been met with a force beyond their understanding. "Let them go," Thorne said. "They'll carry the message to the rest of the galaxy." As the last of the alien ships disappeared into hyperspace, the human fleet regrouped. The battle was over, and humanity had proven their strength. But Thorne knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would not take this defeat lightly. He stood at the center of the bridge, his eyes focused on the stars ahead. "We've shown them what we're capable of," he said quietly. "Now they'll be afraid." But fear isn't enough. One of his officers looked up. "What's our next move, Commander?" Thorne's expression hardened. "We take back the galaxy, and this time no one will stand in our way." The fleet moved forward, Earth now secure behind them. The humans had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy was forever changed. Word of the humans' victory had spread to every corner of known space. The once mighty Galactic Coalition was now in disarray, their fleets shattered and their leaders humiliated. Species who had once considered themselves the rulers of the galaxy now trembled in fear of the reborn human fleet. But humanity had no interest in ruling through fear. They had returned for something greater. Commander Alex Thorne stood on the bridge of the Resolute, gazing out at the stars. Earth was now safe, its ancient defenses fully operational. The humans had proven they were still a force to be reckoned with, but Thorne knew this victory was only the beginning. Their survival wasn't just about defeating their enemies, it was about building a new future. "Commander," Vera, the ship's AI, spoke softly, "our scouts have returned. The remaining Coalition forces have retreated to their homeworlds. They will not challenge us again." Thorne nodded, his expression thoughtful. Good, but we can't stay in the shadows anymore. It's time for humanity to reclaim its place in the galaxy, but not through war. His crew listened intently. They had spent 500,000 years preparing for this moment, but now the real challenge lay ahead, creating a lasting peace. Thorn had always been a soldier, but now he would have to become something more. We won the battle, he continued, but we need to show the galaxy that we're not just warriors. We're builders, explorers, and protectors. This isn't just about survival anymore, it's about leading the galaxy into a new era. Around him, his officers nodded in agreement. The humans had fought hard to protect their legacy, but now they had the chance to shape the future. Thorn turned to Vera. Send a message to the Galactic Council. Let them know we want to open talks. We'll offer them an alliance, one based on mutual respect, not fear. Vera processed the request. Message sent, Commander. Do you believe they'll accept? Thorn smiled faintly. They have no choice. They've seen what we're capable of, but we're offering them something better than war. As the message was sent, Thorn reflected on how far humanity had come. They had vanished from the galaxy for 500,000 years, and during that time, the other species had grown arrogant. They had forgotten what humans were capable of. But now the galaxy would remember. A few hours later, the Galactic Council responded. The message appeared on the screen, showing a group of nervous alien leaders. Grand Admiral Kor, who had led the attack on Earth, now looked smaller, humbled by his defeat. Commander Thorn, Kor said, his voice strained, the Council has received your offer. We accept your terms for peace. We wish to negotiate. Thorn nodded. Good. Humanity is not your enemy, Admiral. We never wanted this war, but now that we've returned, we will ensure peace. Kor's expression softened slightly, and there was a sense of relief in his eyes. What do you intend to do now? Thorn glanced at his crew, then back at Kor. We'll rebuild. Earth will once again be a beacon of hope for the galaxy. We'll share our knowledge, our technology. Together, we can create a future where no species has to live in fear. The words seemed to strike a chord with the Council. They had expected the humans to seek revenge, but instead they were offering cooperation. After the transmission ended, Thorn turned to his crew. Prepare the fleet. We're going to rebuild not just Earth, but the galaxy. There's a lot of work to do. Over the next few weeks, humanity began reaching out to the other species of the galaxy. They offered to help repair the damage caused by the war and shared their advanced technology with those willing to work for peace. Thorn led the effort, guiding humanity with a steady hand. He worked closely with the leaders of the Galactic Council, ensuring that the lessons learned from the war would not be forgotten. Slowly, the galaxy began to heal, and species that had once feared the humans started to see them in a new light. In the end, the humans did not just return to the galaxy, they became its leaders, not through domination, but through wisdom. They had fought and won, but now they were creating a future where all species could thrive together. As Commander Thorn looked out at the stars, he felt a sense of hope. The galaxy had been broken, but now it had a chance to be whole again. This was not just the rebirth of humanity, it was a new beginning for everyone.